Welcome back to the second episode of Walked in Christ. Today we have Festus Oziegbe. He's a 23-year-old who just recently bought his house, and today we're going to discuss the steps and the process he took to get his house at 23 years old. So welcome, Festus. Festus.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just came back from New York City. I'm in Columbus, Ohio now. Living my best life, having fun. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. So let's get right into it. So when did you understood the idea of financial freedom, and what made you start building at such a young age?
Financial freedom came to me when I first started investing in stocks. That would have been my sophomore year of college. The first time I understood what a liability was when I was a sophomore in high school, and I got my first summer youth job. Everybody in New York City knows what summer youth is.
Yeah.
3 months afterwards, you get about $1,000, and then that money can be gone as short as 2 weeks. So literally, I spent like none of the money until right before school started. You buy the latest sneakers. I bought myself a gold watch, and then the rest of the money just dissipated. Basically had $200 for a whole year for just Chinese food. And when you buying fries and bacon, egg, and cheeses in the morning, that thing goes quickly. So I knew, like, damn, I worked 3 months for this $1,000 and ended up with absolutely nothing. The reason why I bought the gold watch was because I wanted something long lasting, knowing that I don't have money to continuously buy new things. And so that watch, I could hold it for 10, 20, 30 years. And that was my first time just buying something to preserve it. It wasn't an asset because it wasn't going to sell for more value or bring me any money passively, but it was something that I knew I could hold on to, or at least maintain its value to a certain degree.
That's dope. That's very young age. When I was in middle high school, I probably made a couple of same mistakes. But speaking to my mom and told me she introduced me to savings and bank accounts. So it was great to learn that at a young age, and that's also when I became aware of financial freedom. There's other ways you can do with your money. So when did you
Mm-hmm.
get into stocks? Let's talk about that real quick. You say you got into stock in sophomore year. So how did that process go for you?
Yeah, so as I was playing football, I actually went to three different colleges. I started at Globe Institute of Technology, went to Mega Evers College, and at Mega Evers, I was with my best friend Kurt, and he was just doing penny stocks on Robinhood. I glanced over it, but I didn't say much about it. And when I got home, um, me working at Domino's at the time, I saved up about $13,000. I went ahead and I put about $2,000 into the stock market at Robinhood on the Robinhood app, and I started investing in stocks that were not penny stocks. So anything over $10 that I had some interest in, but not anything too expensive because I had little money to work with.
Okay. So like from that experience of putting money and you seeing that your money was able to grow for you, did that make you want to invest in other different things like real estate? So how did you go about getting into real estate?
Yeah, so when I first started off in the stock market, I think for every $4,000, I was making about 200 a year. Now that I'm a much more seasoned investor, for every $4,000, I make about $1,000 a year. So I'm like 5 timesing my money at this point. When I started to get invested in real estate, um, I didn't really think of real estate as an option for me when I first got started out. It wasn't that I didn't want to get invested. It was just that the stock market was just so easy, so fluid. You can get your cash anytime, move it around and change it. And when I went to Ohio, my uncle already had a duplex and had already had his uh, one single family home, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. And so when I moved to Ohio, I buy this luxury apartment for $945 a month. People in New York City is like, what? Paying $2,000 and stuff. But yeah, I got this large luxury apartment, gym, pool, 2 bedrooms for a single man like myself. And, you know, that's $945.
Really sweet.
After a while, just going to different properties, seeing my uncle manage his tenants, and seeing that his property grew $20,000 in a year, I was like, damn, that's a lot of money. But me knowing that I want to hold on to my properties, the appreciation doesn't really matter because I'm not looking to refinance. I'm not looking to take equity out to buy another property. I'm not looking to continuously maintain debt. So the stock market was like a debt-free way for me. And so people need to really weigh out those options and know their risk. And that's a whole nother conversation. But going to see multiple properties with my uncle as he was looking for his third and eventually did get his third, I started going out to see properties on my own, just as a way to stop renting. And, you know, I was able to look in that $155,000 price range because that was going to equate to how much I was paying in rent, which was like $945.
That's dope. That's dope. So let's talk about the process. So you're saying that you went to speak to your uncle. You see your uncle like he's making $20,000 a year. So how did you go about doing research? Did you get a real estate agent right away? How did that go about? Let's talk about that.
Created about 20K, but we'll say that he was making maybe 2,400 a year from the rent after expenses and stuff like that, right? So unless he's taking that money out, which he probably is, he's making about 2,400 off the property with the value of the home growing. So what I did is the first thing I did as a novice, I went on Redfin. Got with somebody to go and look at a property, did not have a pre-approval, did not have anything. And it was a young man, probably the same age as me. He was in college, he was like 20. And every single question I asked him, hey, how much do you think I can get down on this property? What do you think it's worth? You know, when was the last time they updated anything? He would just tell me, once you get your pre-approval, we can get our inspection and then we can get started on the process. So essentially everything I asked him, he had no information on. And yes, there's only some information that you can get without getting it appraised, getting it inspected, and getting that pre-approval so you can get in. But essentially everything that he was doing was just saying, hey, you got to put in this work first before I give you information. So essentially he was just leaving it to me, and I didn't like that. It seemed like a money grab. It seemed like he wasn't trying to give me knowledge and information. And so I stopped working with him. I tried to work with another person on Redfin. The lady was more casual. We went and seen a house, and the house was not what it claims to be. In order to have a room in Ohio, you need to have at least one window, one closet. I believe the house did not have, one of the rooms did not have a window, but it did have a closet, and they did count it as a room, which is not acceptable. So it was really a 2-bedroom because it did not have that window.
Just didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of information to get in. So even through my mistakes, not having things ready, I was still able to identify certain things. And then the roof was just a lot of roofs in Ohio. When you go into the attic, it can be very small, cramped, very old for shorter people who lived back in those days. And so I looked at that as well as something that I wasn't really interested in. The woman agreed, but, very like sluggishly, boringly, not really having anything to add. And so I feel like I was getting no information from my realtor who should have that experience. Then I went with my uncle just to visit some nice apartments because I didn't really want to buy anything at the moment. It was like 5 months into living in Ohio, and we just ran across this realtor who was showing off $500,000 properties on a what's it called? One of those days where you just have everybody walk through,
Open house.
And we started talking. We was talking about the stock market. He was talking about how it was going up in value. And I was showing him my stocks on Acorns, Robinhood, M1 Finance. And he was just, just talking to me about that. Didn't really hit me up to persuade me to buy a $500,000 home. Did not talk to me about, real estate at all. And he was really just interested in my interests. And when I was ready to start shopping for duplexes, about 2 months later, I just contacted him and he showed up that same day, not even knowing who I was, but just knowing that, we obviously had some contact. And when I looked at that duplex, I didn't really like it. He understood, he gave his input. I liked the conversation and I continued to work with him. Down the road, I started looking at properties myself just to save time, looking at the neighborhood myself so that I'm not, bothering him with coming out and driving out to see properties that I'm not really interested in. And that saved us time as well. So instead of looking at 5 properties, I would look at 3. And then I would have my pre-approval ready. So I got with a lender, one of these online lenders who can give you a pre-approval right away. And I would just email them, hey, give me a pre-approval on this house, give me a pre-approval on that house, give me a pre-approval on that house, because they know my information, they know how much money I have. And that's the good thing about the stock market. You can use up to 70% of your equity in the stock market because they don't expect it. Even in a Great Depression, your stock should only drop about 30%. So they'll use that 70% mark to gauge your wealth. So as I continue to add to my stock market portfolio every single year, I will always have more money to leverage in real estate. Even though I'm never going to take out my stocks for real estate, they see that I have the equity. And so they'll always give me what I'm looking for. And, that's what I took from that. I had my pre-approval ready. I was going to look at properties on my own. And then I would call my realtor so that we can walk through them.
That's dope. I did not know that having 70. They basically calculate your net worth using 70% of your valuation in the stock market, that's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
So that's dope. That's actually dope. I did not know that. There's something new in here. So how did you say you met your real estate agent or your realtor? So what was like the big step? Like, how do you decide on this house? Like, what made the house a big difference compared to other
Right.
houses?
So people would think it's pressure, but I think it's knowing what you want. So there was a lot of deals that you'll miss in Ohio because the market is just crazy right now. And whether it's the stock market or real estate market, is just freaking crazy. And everybody's buying up every property, especially in good neighborhoods. So the most expensive properties are going. I'm looking at a property in an upcoming neighborhood with a duplex, 2-bedroom. It's old and needs some work, but I knew it was going to be a bidding war. It was already 165K, and we walked through it. It was a little smaller. Obviously, it's a duplex, so you got 2 sides, which would have made it look so much bigger. One side was already rented out, and when you have a tenant in one of the units already, of course, you can ask for more money because you already got some cash flow. And so there was already like 4 offers on the home on the very first day. And I came out the very first day and they wanted your best and final offer. And I already knew if I put an offer on this home, I can't put an offer on another home. My realtor is about to go on vacation, so I can't really look at too many more properties. I don't want to look with another realtor. And I did find this house that I'm living in right now. This house that I'm living in right now, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. Everything is completely updated. The only thing I did not have is a washer and dryer, but it does have the hookup. New microwaves, fridge, stove, countertops, everything, bathroom. And I was just like, this house is in an upcoming neighborhood as well. Not a B-class neighborhood like the duplex was in, but a C-class neighborhood that is slowly on the come up. Right next to a school, right next to a church. Literally across the street from me is the church and the school. So, during COVID, you don't really know what the noise level is going to be. But right now, it's it's amazing. So The property was originally listed at 155. And during the seller first tried to sell it to someone who did not have the adequate financing, and the price dropped to 145 after 14 days. So they was really trying to get a quick sell on the home. And then when I looked at it at 145, everybody was telling me, just jump on it, just buy it. You want the home, it's updated, it's nice, it's clean. You want it at 145, don't take any risks. And I said, no, I want the best deal possible. And so I asked for $5,000 off right away. And if they wasn't going to agree to that, I was just going to walk away from the deal. And they did agree within 23 hours. We gave them 2 days to respond because we didn't want anybody else to put in offers on the home. And they did agree. And with us being in contract, nobody else could walk through the home. So now we got the house at 140. I'm looking to put a 10% down payment in. They're evaluating all of my stocks. They're looking at everything again. And obviously everything is good to go because I never touch my stocks. And then even if you want to put less money down, if you want to put 3% later, you can, especially on your first house. Mm-hmm. Showing that you have all of that type of money definitely helps you close the deal. So like literally, I'll never have to use any of the money in the stock market. I could just put 5% down later on when most people will ask for 20%. And so, yeah, I get the house for 140. We do our appraisals and inspections, which all cost money. I'm doing sewer inspections as well because Ohio sometimes has bad sewers. I checked, scoped it out. It was all good to go. Some people don't do that because you don't have to pay for that. But, you know, if you want a house and you want the best price, you got to do all that stuff. We got extra work done on the foundation. We got extra stuff added to the house. We got the security system kept in the house. So like I was really looking for the best deal. I got $1,000 security equipment for free. Extra $3,000 added to the house so that I could do some landscaping and stuff like that. And yeah, honestly, I was increasing the value of the house with the seller's money and just doing a lot of stuff. So I was able to put 10% down on the house, which was 14.5K. And the seller took the other 3K. And the house got appraised for 142. So 142,000. So I got an extra $2,000 on top of what the seller was already doing for me. It was a great deal.
That's still an extra 2K. That goes a long way, especially
on the house without me having to do a damn thing. And with my car note, with my car note that I had and that I was paying off as soon as I entered Ohio, with my revolving credit that I've had since I was 18, always paid off on time, never had any balances. I was able to get 2.625% on the house. And so literally every single month that I pay on the house, I have a huge chunk of that going towards the principal. So it's really.
How does credit play a role? Like, how important is credit? What would you say?
I don't put a big emphasis on credit as most people do in our type of communities. I think that it really does get overrated in our communities. As Black people, we don't really understand what we're doing with our credit. I think most people try to spend more in order to just improve their credit, which I really think is detrimental to them. Like, I think the easiest thing to do is put $6,000 in the stock market, wait 40 years and have $1 million. But people will wait and save that instead and, try and buy a property, say, oh, if I put $6,000 on a property, 3% down, I can have $100,000 home and be living in there. Yes, you can. You can literally move, have a 100K home, and pay like $400 a month in rent with good credit, right? That $400 a month, you're adding equity to your home, but you're forgetting the cost of repairs. You're forgetting the cost of, you know, whether you want tenants or not. If they're leaving, you gotta look for other people to rent it. You gotta have money saved for damages to the home, theft, property theft, have right insurance, all of that stuff. In the stock market, you don't have to worry about those things. So, you know, I always emphasize having multiple accounts, one for saving, one for investing, one for real estate investing. Like literally, the money that I use for real estate investing is in the stock market. I have other stock market accounts for real estate investing. After a year and a half, you'll see an extra $1,000. Put in an extra $1,000 towards your house. That's half a percent on your home. You know, if I wait 2 years, that's like 3% on my home. So literally, that's what I did. I put 10K in acorns, came back with 12, put that on the house. You know, so I'm not always going to say that you're always going to be profitable, but I've been in the market for about 6 years now. And so, like, again, from 200 to 1,000 a year with only 4,000, and now just constantly growing that. It's very, very fluid for me knowing what I can do. There's slower stocks, there's riskier stocks, there's simpler stocks that, you know, will maintain its value and continue to make you money. So yeah, I don't put too much emphasis on that. Like I said, that's why I emphasize I pay off my credit cards every single month since I was 18. Never had a problem. I don't hold on to any balances. I don't keep any additional lingering debt on my credit cards. I do not do that. And I just make sure that I have the money to pay it off right away. I'm not waiting for my next paycheck to pay it off. I have that money right away.
So quick question. If you can give people five things that they need to do before they look into invest in a house, what would you suggest?
Well, you need to know how much house you can afford. So whatever you're paying in rent right now, I would always say to look at that range. And if you have good credit, it will easily be less. And I'll tell you why with number two. When you're looking for a house, your first interest rate is probably not your best. So shop around, let them know what your first one was. My first interest rate was 3.1%. And they tried to get me to buy points to bring it down to 2.85%. And that would have cost me an extra $2,000 to get my points down that low. But instead, I just went to another agent and they offered me 2.625%. And now instead of me having to buy points, they're giving me the same price without me having to do anything. I felt that was disrespectful, by the way. Like, you want me to pay $2,000 for something and then you're going to give me something even cheaper without me paying $2,000 when somebody offers me a better price. So that was very disrespectful. And I went with the person who offered me the best deal first. That saved me easily $200 a month. Just by switching to another lender. And these are the things that nobody tells you to do, even if they're in real estate. Like, you know, my uncle wasn't telling me switch my lender. My uncle wasn't telling me to drop the price of the home by 5K. He was telling me buy the house with that extra 5K because, you know, you don't want nobody to snatch it up. And he was just sitting down when I was saying, hey, I need a new lender. I need to look for somebody else because I knew race was at 2.75 and I'm getting this bullshit deal at 3.1. And so when I found 2.625, I hopped on that right away. Number three is get your pre-approval. When you get your pre-approval done, people know that you're ready. And when you have a realtor haggling you about your pre-approval, get a new one. And that's exactly what I did. So, you know, having that pre-approval, you know, you're in business. You're in business to close, especially in hot markets. If you're in New York City trying to buy a house and you don't have your pre-approval, you're not buying that house. somebody else is going to hop on that deal. I'm literally telling a seller that they cannot sell their house because I got them in contract within 24 hours. You understand? So somebody's going to hop on before you. This house would have been sold by if I didn't have my pre-approval. Closed very, very quickly. We close in less than a month and a half when it typically takes about 3 months to close. So you want to have that pre-approval ready, or you cannot even enter those conversations. I wanted to bet on that duplex in that B-class neighborhood. Without a pre-approval, it was no shot. So I had that, but I didn't want to risk losing this house. And so, I had to go with this house because you cannot put 2 offers in on a home. Number 4, I would say have a high interest savings account and continue to add to that every single month. Whether you have an investment account, whether you have whatever, always add to your high interest savings account and make that separate from your emergency fund. A high interest savings account that I use is like Goldman Sachs. I do not use regular savings account that give you a penny for every $1,000 you put in. Having a high interest savings account will offer you about $2 to $3 for every 1,000 or 2,000 that you have, and that's better than a penny a month. My brother just started investing last year. He's already made $1,000. He got his high interest savings account. Now he's looking to invest in another account, just like me, literally doing everything that I've done and invest in his own stock so he can make more money. You have to have several accounts. You have to have a stock market account, savings account, high interest savings account, and go from there. Have a plan with all of your money. That's what I do. I put my money to work. I put my money in the stock market to buy a car, put my money in the stock market to buy a house, put my money in the stock market for retirement, to retire off for dividend investing. That's long term. And that's what I use to leverage real estate, to be honest. My dividend investing account that I'm never going to touch. But I get like 15 paychecks every month, so that's ridiculous. And, the stock market has better tax breaks than any other market. So that's good too. And then number 5, look for people who are interested in teaching you. I have a group of about 7 people that we text regularly, and I just show them everything that I'm doing. Right now, I'm about to put another 5,000 to 6,000 in the market on Monday, and we're gonna go over what am I buying, why I'm buying it, stuff like that. And having people who are willing to teach you for free is the best thing that you'll ever get. Right now, you're doing that for so many people, and that's amazing. That's commendable. I like to have that smaller group just because, they're interested. I know they're interested. It's not, just a fling that they're going through. I don't really advertise it, but they let me know, hey man, how can I be better? And I let them know how they can be better. So
that's dope. Quick question: do you have any mentors, or you just read and do your own research?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily have a mentor, but I do reach out to a lot of people in order to get more information I needed. I did a lot of research. I do a lot of research, period. I'm still learning things like a lot about options trading, even though I've been in options trading when I was in college. You still learn more and more every day. Dividend investing is so easy to me now after 6 years of doing it. When it comes to real estate, it's still a process. I'm hiring a property manager. I'll be seeing them on Monday. There's a lot of things that you can really only learn through experience. I watched a lot of YouTube, whether it's Graham Stephan or I don't really watch Bigger Pockets, but let's just throw that out there. Robert Kiyosaki as well. I read his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, you learn from other people's failures as well. There was a lot of people trading stocks in college. There's a lot of people doing options in college. There's a lot of people doing cryptos now. I was doing cryptos in college as well. And I'm looking to probably get a little bit of money into Bitcoin probably next week. But Yeah, a lot of stuff you learn from experience. I've reached out to a couple of millionaires on YouTube, and they've gotten back to me. Whether it's been real estate, whether it's mostly been for real estate, but also stock market as well. People who own laundry companies and stuff like that. You know, I'm trying to understand how can I own one of those.
That's
So I reach out to millionaires. I get millionaires advice, and you know, that's amazing. For
do you want to
young,
name those millionaires, or you want to keep that to yourself?
I don't want people blowing them up.
That's cool.
But
That's cool.
there's a millionaire on YouTube. They live in your area. What you got to do is reach out, hit them up on Instagram via email. I normally hit them up on Instagram or even on Facebook, and I haven't been rejected yet. so, they're very friendly people. They're very interested in sharing this advice. It's not hard. It's not hard to get good information from legit people making good money. So, they might just tell you one or two things, but take those one or two things and run with it. Don't continue to haggle them for information. I'm guaranteeing you somebody's gonna learn something from this podcast, whether it's one or two things, and run with that, learn that, hone that, and then keep going.
That's dope. And my last question, what do you see yourself in 5 years or 5 to 10 years from now? What do you see yourself?
It's too easy because I think I said high goals for myself, but literally I always pass them. I'm gonna own another 2 properties in the next 5 years. I'm gonna have a VA loan in the next 5 years, so that's the military loan, which allows you to put 0% down and still have an even lower interest rate than the 2.625% that I already have. The military offers a 5% 5% match with the 401k, so you got to get into that. That's free money. And then going back to school, working on my medicine as well, so that even after I could retire right now. To be honest, I've told my friends that, they know that, but I'm just so focused on keeping going, keeping to add on. I could retire right now as a single man, but for a family, that's a whole different story, right? So you gotta keep processing, and like you gotta keep progressing. And that's what I want to do. So I'm gonna own three properties. I'm gonna have over 50,000 in the stock market. I'll probably have 50,000 in the stock market within the next 3 years, to be honest. But you just gotta keep going. Keep
Oh,
going.
that's
Have
dope.
a plan. Keep investing, and you will be straight.
That's dope. Where can people find you?
So I have an Instagram channel, gifted.lyrically. I also have a YouTube channel, earning passive income with Festus. So reach out, look at those channels, hit me up on YouTube. I'll try to get back to everybody as quick as possible.
All right. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Thank you, Festus, for coming on here and sharing your time and giving us some knowledge about real estate, stocks, investing. You're just basically your own journey. Truly appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.